Now, the European Union President, Ms. van der Leyen, they urged European companies to accelerate development of self-driving cars and AI technology to revitalize struggling European markets. She said China and United States are already leading this field, and Europe plans to establish pilot areas for self-driving cars. Now, this is what apparently the European Commission said talking about the self-driving cars and AI technology. I mean, if there's one thing that I'm telling you that she can talk about when it comes to AI and self-driving cars or autonomous driving, indeed the US and China, they are really ahead in terms of AI. In fact, US and China, they are really not that far off from each other. But in self-driving, autonomous driving, I can tell you that China is very far ahead of the US, because in terms of the technology that is found onto the cars, even the Ford CEO of the US admitted that China, in terms of their cars, in terms of the technology in their cars, they are very far from the kind of technology that is being seen into the US, right? These speak volumes about where NIO is at in terms of the technology of their cars. I mean, our favorite stock, NIO, it is one of the car maker in China that is making other countries globally to really see how far they are when it comes to technology, because NIO, when it comes to technology in cars, they are up there in the front, right? They are in the forefront. You cannot leave NIO out of the equation when you're talking about technological advancement of electric vehicles or software in the car. You cannot ignore NIO in that space at all. And therefore, I think our very own NIO, it's really making China to shine because of its massive investments on R&Ds and the technologies that they've been deploying because of those heavy investments. So hearing the European leader talking about this, highlighting this to Europe, it tells you that even car brands, German luxury brands like your Mercedes, your Audi, your BMW, they are still behind the technology that we are seeing currently onto China, because if they were in par with the autonomous driving or self-driving technology and AI like what we are seeing into China and the US, she was not going to bring up or utter such statements, because she knows the local car brands would be on par with both China and the US. And the fact that now she's saying this, it means that she's worried. As a leader, she's worried, and she wants the local companies to really take their game to the next level, which is something that honestly, it's interesting to see it, especially coming from the European leader. I mean, this is obviously so great. I mean, going back to the Ford CEO, right? He said, if you remember that interview that I once shared with you a couple of months, or I once discussed on this channel a couple of months, the Ford CEO said something very interesting, and he was like, look, they are looking at shipping some or buying some of the Chinese new energy vehicle car makers to deassemble them and just see how far China has become, China is when it comes to the technology of this car. That was done, and the CEO did confirm that indeed China is very far off from even the US when it comes to the technology in the cars, right? I mean, you will know that when it comes to EV cars, the magnets that are used for the motors for wiper blades, motors, and the main motors that control the tires, right? China, it is the one that is supplying the strongest magnets globally, and it's for that reason that even Donald Trump highlighted, or sometimes I think 3 weeks ago, came and threatened China to say that they better not stop supplying the US with the strong magnets, because he realized that without China, then it's game over for the US when it comes to production and development of new cars in the US. They need China to thrive. They need China of course, to also succeed, right? And this is thanks to the massive R&Ds, research and development, that the Chinese companies have been doing, like NIO, right? I mean, these companies have been investing on research and development, and particularly NIO. I would like to say to you guys that I'm very happy or excited about what NIO has done. I mean, NIO could have been profitable a long time ago. I can tell you that with boldness and confidence. But NIO decided to invest on R&Ds heavily to make sure or to ensure that there is a big difference between them and the other new energy vehicle car makers. NIO knew that they have to decide. I mean, companies like Leyen, it decided that it want to get to profitability as quickly as possible, but right now, because they were too focused on profitability, which they got it, or which they are still are even now, and lose focus on R&Ds. Have a look at what is happening in the streets of China right now when it comes to new energy vehicle sales. We are seeing, of course, Leyen, which was profitable, doing well, reporting 30% drop in terms of sales on a month to month, which, like I said, it's not good at all to see that happening. And NIO, on the other hand, their road was completely different from the road that other or some of the new energy vehicles companies chose in China. And that is, they decided that they need to invest heavily onto R&Ds. They decided that they need to take their game to the next level in terms of technological advancement and all that, and then get to profitability, which we all know that right now, this quarter that we are in, it is finally going to be NIO's turn to hit or to get to profitability, which, like I said, I love a lot, and it's just so crazy, man. And this gives me the confidence to want to continue loading the boat, because NIO is not only a company that obviously it's liked in, it's a company that is just set for greatness, because fundamentally it continues growing stronger, which is absolutely great. But anyways, let me not take or make this video to be too long. Tell me what you think about this. Blue sky is coming, long term will win, and those that are persevering throughout the headwinds of the share price are going to be rewarded with time. Look, man, it takes me some time to make videos like this, and all I ask from you is to give it a thumbs up, so that at least it can be spread out by YouTube to as many people as possible. I do take some time to make this kind of content, but anyways, I don't want to make this video too long. I'll see you on the next one. That is all from me, and God bless you all.